Well, it's time for afternoon chores, and it's hot as usual, but things have to be fed, so we're going to do that. Just wanted to show you my soon-to-be new fence line. The neighbor is putting in a new fence, so he's taking out the old one. I missed the trees that had to go, but fence line's no place for trees. But it'll be really nice to have a secure fence. The old one had been up probably since the 40s. Had some really unusual barbed wire that I had never seen before. So anyway, it's time to get the beet pulp ready for the goats. This is beet pulp. It's just compressed whatever's left over, I guess, out of sugar beets. It's compressed and made into a pellet. And what I do is I add some water to it. Turn it on, see if I can keep from getting splashed. And I just add, about 3/4 a bucket of water to about 1/4 a bucket of beet pulp. When we come back, I'll show it to you. It'll be all expanded. Then I feed it to the goats. In addition to their regular pelleted feed, they were getting pretty drawn down when they were nursing the kids, and we just haven't had any kind of rain, so I've had basically no browse for them at all. And so I was watching a program of people that live in kind of an area about like what we do. Theirs is a little more harsh, that their girls were nursing down pretty good, and so I started adding the beet pulp to their daily ration of pellets and alfalfa, and they've all started filling out real nice. Of course, the kids have been off of them for about a month now, but it really has made a difference, and I'm glad that we discovered it, because we just have had no rain and very little grass. And here's some of the girls. They're chilling out back here with the tanks and the little well house. And here's my tanks with my, I planned on growing water lettuce out here, but it's not doing very well. But I actually have a few little goldfish. I don't know if you can see them in there. I've been using those in the stock tank, and it's helped cut down on the algae. But hopefully this weekend I can go in there and get all my stock tanks a good scrubbing for all the livestock, and then they'll have nice clean tanks which will last a little while, and refresh those who have no more goldfish. It's pretty funny though. I went to was going to put these in, and I sent one of the guys that works with me, I sent him to PetSmart to buy some goldfish, and he said, well, how many? I said, oh, give me 30 of them. They were like 39 cents a piece. And he said, really? I said, yeah, go get them. And so he went into PetSmart, and he was talking to them, and he went up to talk to the girl, and she said, what can I help you with? He says, I need 30 goldfish. She goes, what? He said, I just need 30 goldfish. I can't explain. So anyway, he brought me back. I think they ended up getting like 40. And he said he saw her in the PetSmart, because he has dogs. Again, she said, you're the one that got all the goldfish, aren't you? He said, yeah. Didn't explain. I guess it was embarrassing. But anyway, the goldfish are doing their jobs, those that have survived. So if you're a goldfish protection agency people, I'm sorry. They do the best they can and survive where they can. Well, you can see I wasn't sneaky enough to get up here and out the gate before they found me. So we got to wade through the mob and see if we can get over to the field. I have to be a little more careful now because this fence is down over here. So wish me luck. Yes, yes, yes. I know you're hungry. Get back. Go on, get back. Get back. Go. Shoot. Shoot. This is the tricky part of getting out of here without them coming through here with me. So we're going to try it. This worked pretty good yesterday. Without me getting shot, we'll see. Because I have one who wants to come over here, and with the fence down, it's not a good thing. Move! Move! That worked out all right. Hey, 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 hey! Get away from there. Go on. Move. Move. See? Come on. Move. Everybody move. Move. Come on. Move. Come on, move. 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 Ha! Move. There we go. I can make my break for it. Well, they're following, but I can get a little bit of it out before they get here. I moved them over here, so if I needed to, I could keep them over here. They started giving me problems about getting over into the other field with that fence down, but so far they've respected the fence. And here they come. Move. Move. Ah. And the cows are fed. I do about a 50-pound sack every 2 days. They have lots of hay, so they do all right. See if I can start this thing. Well, it's time to feed the chickens in the chicken tractor. There's some meat birds. I have about 29 of them. And this is my electric fence, but I can't put my charger, you can see it right there. Out here, the cows are teared up, so I have to use a fiberglass pole to push the button to turn it off, and now I can get in without getting zapped. I've already been to the faucet way over yonder and turned it on so that the water, as you see, is running, so it can cool the water off in the water hose. And this is my chicken tractor. I saw this online and I'm going, I can build that. Well, it didn't have the dimensions, but I thought, I can build that. And so I built that, and I think it's twice as big as what it should be. But I built it, and it's got lots of room for these 30 meat chickens. And I didn't buy the tin, I just used some tarps, and I face it, the west end is in the shaded area. And you can see these guys are getting pretty big. We're gonna process them the 3rd week of July, something like that. And they're pretty good size, and they have feed and these little waters. I don't know, the jury's still out on these. They keep coming loose, that's why I always have a pan and another waterer. So anyway, I'm gonna feed them, and then we'll go someplace else after we're done here. Well, you can see they're all fed and watered. And like I said, I like these little waterers, but I thought I was getting something that would be level by itself, hanging on a chain. Well, these aren't. You have to put something under them. And the chickens knock them off. And the little waterer thing over here, it will shut off to a certain extent, but then they have no water. So I've added a large bell water and a pan of water just in case, because we had them without water for one day and it was pretty hot. Didn't lose any, but it was still pretty hot. It's nice and cool over here in the shade. I face it to the east, and then this tarp comes over and gives them some shade. And then back over there in the back, you can see my hand-rigged cardboard petition, but they can get back there. And you say, well, something can get them. Well, I've got electronet all the way around them, and so far, no predator problems. Oh, and there, see, the cows have hay. So 1 bag of pellets every other day. They still got plenty to eat on as far as hay goes. And they've got another one, where is it at? One over there, and then a partial that's left over. I mainly put it over here in case I had to enclose them in this section here, if they gave my 3-strand electric on the other side some problems. So anyway, I don't move these every day. I go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get home at 4:30 or 5, and it's freaking hot out here. But you can tell where I've laid the hose down and let it run just to cool off the water. And we've got some water, got some good grass here, and I'll move them tomorrow, and they'll be back over here in this nice green grass. I'm supposed to be going forward, and there's another patch of nice green grass right here. I'm supposed to be going forward, and next time when I figure this out where I'm going to put them, because this is probably my only batch for this year, I'm going to scope out my landscape pretty good, because you can see where they were last, right there. Well, this is ahead of them, and I've been treating this as diatomaceous earth almost all week. And you can see that these red ants, it ain't happening. They're not moving. So I'm looking at maybe something else to try and kill them out. I don't mind them here because I have the little horned toads, but I don't want them here. I want them way out there, away from the animals and away from me. I think so far this year I've had about 10 bites, and they hurt like the dickens. So anyway, live and learn on our little pasture land here for the chickens. So next time I'll scope it out, which is really pretty hard because I've got one right here. You walk up here about another 10 or 15 paces. There's kind of a dead circle right there. There's an ant bed there. You go up there another 10 or 15 paces, another one, and then away out over there by the garden dome, there's another one. And then there's some over here. And I mean, they're everywhere. So trying to kill them all out is an exercise in futility. And the chickens don't eat them. And I don't think the guineas do either. And the horned toads are supposed to, but I don't have enough horned toads to even make a dent. Okay, here in a minute, we're gonna go and feed water the chickens. I've already fed them. I got plenty of feed. We're gonna water the chickens and water the garden dome, and then we'll go to the goats. Well, since they're all in one place and the feeding frenzy is over with, I think I've introduced the cows before, but maybe kind of in a bunch. This one is Don't Touch Me. She's not real fond of people or cows either. She'll hang with them, but she'd rather be off by herself. And she is the calf's mother, Mr. Milliken. And this one here is Onyx. She's a Dexter cow. The Don't Touch Me is some sort of Angus cross. And here's Mr. Milliken. He's our surprise. Don't Touch Me got over into the other field and came back with Mr. Milliken. He's about, I don't know, maybe 2.5 months old, something like that. And this one over here is Horns. She's just real excitable like a Chihuahua, just lots bigger. Anyway, she's the one you kind of have to watch her. I don't think she deliberately hurts you, but she gets real excited and she's not paying attention. And I'm not real sure her brakes work real well. Anyway, and this one right here, the red one that looks like she's pregnant, looked like she's pregnant since we got her. This is Cuddles. And she's friendly. She'll let you scratch her head. She's always looking for something to eat. And this one right here, she's a dun Dexter. I never can remember. I think her name is Onyx. You can kind of see the back end of her. Anyway, she's a little over a year old. And this is Kevin. Kevin's our bull. Kevin is pretty laid back. He doesn't like the fly spray. He will run away if I have the fly spray. And then this is Millie. This is Cuddles' calf. This one that we bought with her. You can see she is almost as big as her mother. Like I said, there's Kevin. He has his own personality. And like I said, I think the dun one is Nellie and the black one is Onyx. We bought them at the same place. And let's see. Oh, here's our one. I always end up calling her the other cow, but I think we should call her Spot. She's got white spots on her belly and on her udder. So, and she's friendly. She's a little pushy. That's the worst thing about her. She's just a little pushy. She's always wanting to get right up in your business. So that's an intro to everybody. And like I said, they're kind of calm right now because everybody's eating. But Mr. Milliken, he's a cutie. He already has his own personality. He hangs out more with his aunties than he does his mom. He's like hanging out here with Spot and hangs out with Kevin. There's been a couple of times I've caught him on my camera. He's laying down with Kevin at the hay bale ring. So he's learning from Kevin. He's going to be bigger than Kevin before too long, but he'll be a steer before next time. He's not Kevin's calf. He actually is sired by a big old, I think it's Brangus bull that Mr. Milliken has, the guy that owns his dad. And so, anyway, but you can see how they even protect him. Even this is not his mother right here, but they protect him and run him back that way so that he's protected. So, anyway, he's really inquisitive. He kind of chases after the chickens and the guineas, trying to figure out what they are. This is the garden dome. It's got netting on it. I've still got a few repairs left over from last year and a little bit more shade cloth to put in here. The shade cloth's not for shade. The shade cloth is to break this brutal wind that we have out here, and it's helped. And my garden is not in the ground. This ground out here, when you've watered it, you can take a double spiked fence post and just put your foot on top of it and it'll sink it right up into the ground. Beautiful. But when it's dry, I have a hammer drill bit that I drill the holes for the spikes and then I put it in with a hammer. That's the way this ground is out here. And it is all now about as hard as a rock. It doesn't take much water for it to get soft again, but it does dry out and then the roots can't grow. These are called earth boxes, and they have this little spigot here that I'm filling up, and it fills up a reservoir in the bottom, and when it pours out, then it's got enough water. So it takes me a few minutes to water. And we're waiting for the water. There it goes. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the water's running out. So then we go to the next one, and so on and so on. So far we got tomatoes and quite a few peppers. You can kind of see the peppers down in there. Those are some banana peppers. I've only gotten one off of those. Tomatoes are real slow this year for whatever reason. And this is a cucumber. And there's some beans that popped up, and a few little beets that I don't think are going to make it. More tomatoes, and over on the other side we have, there, that went through. On the other side we have some cantaloupes and watermelons. I'll show you that. And right here we have a volunteer beans and a corn stalk. It's really strange. I think it's corn. It looks like corn. And let me see about this one. It's ready to be moved. Not quite. Just wait just a minute and I'll move it over to the next one. There we go. There, the water's coming out. And then we'll put it in over here on this one. This one actually has some radishes in it with some tomatoes. If I can find the hose. And I'll just let that fill up and I'll show you the got squash right there. A few little pieces of squash, and got a couple that can be harvested probably tomorrow. Here we go. See, we got watermelons. See a little bitty one right there. Where'd he go? There he is, underneath there. And another one right there. And I think the other one, well, here's one over here. And I think the other one is a cantaloupe. Nothing on it yet. So mainly we have cherry tomatoes and a few other tomatoes. So that's pretty much the garden. I do have somewhere over here, look there, there's some okra that popped up from volunteers from last year. So I've been watering them. I don't know that it's enough to do anything with, but at least I can save some seed. We'll finish watering. This is our solar system by RPS. Right now the sun's in the west and this is facing south, so it doesn't show a lot of power, but this pumps out of the wellhead and goes to a storage tank on the other side. Then we have a small pump that when it's turned on it feeds our faucets and the trailer. But this is a real simple system to put in. RPS has lots of videos, so my son and I put this in ourselves, and the controller is easy to set up, and you can even do battery backup. We don't have a battery backup, but because we have a storage tank, and it even has a sensor that tells you when the well is low or when the tank is full. It shuts it off. So it's a nice little system if you're looking for something and you don't have power. When my son and his wife moved out here, they had no power. There was no electricity, and they were able to But electricity, you can see our electric lines. Now we have power, so that was a big plus. But when they first moved out here, it was generator and solar. That was it. Hard life. This is much easier. Not a real big day for eggs. One guinea egg. I have 2 younger chickens' eggs and one of the older ones. I've got several older girls and they're not as productive. But I've got 50 new pullets coming in. I think the 6th. And so anyway, we'll have maybe a lot more eggs this fall and this winter. Okay, here's the beet pulp. My recipe was a little off. You probably only need like 2/3 of a bucket instead of 3/4 a bucket of water to the 1/4 inch. It's still a little soupy, but I mean the goats drink it and it makes it easier to come out of the bucket, because if it's a little bit dry it gets stuck in the bottom of the bucket. So, but this is what it is, and it's got good calories in it, and of course they have the nutrients they need in their feed. And we're set up for a little bit of alfalfa this afternoon for everybody, and we got their feed ration here. I don't give the goats alfalfa but once every couple of weeks. They may up the bucks. I've heard that it can give them urinary tract problems, so I don't do it very often, but the girls usually get alfalfa every day, and then they have coastal Bermuda in their hay rack. First stop is to turn off the charger over here for the electric fence and give the girls some alfalfa. I've got still 2 young does, but they were born in January. Today is June 30th, so they're February, March, April, May, June. They just turned 5 months old here. This little one here, we called her Toast, and then this little white one back over here behind her mama. And all these are my other goats. This one right here, this tricolor, she's pregnant. She lost her baby when the others were pregnant, and so I just stuck her with the buck while these guys were kidding out. So anyway, everybody seems to be doing good. Everybody's dried up. Had one gentleman come and buy 2 of my does that I had for sale, so I still have these 2 little ones left. So they're eating their alfalfa. We're going to run over there and feed the 2 bucks. I had 4 bucks, 4 bucklings is what they call it, in my herd sire, and I took 3 of my bucklings to the sale and ended up getting almost $300 a piece for them. So they weighed like average of 78, so it's like $3.50 a pound. That's not too bad. They weren't, I don't know if they went to somebody's farm or if they went to the meat house, but they were nice, good sized little bucklings, and they just didn't have the chest size or the weight I felt like to be herd sires. So anyway, I wouldn't have kept them for myself, so I went ahead and sent them to the auction. And and they were nice looking. I did put on there that they were Kikos, so maybe some rancher bought them for his herd. There's a lot of talk around here about, what do they call it, herd vigor. That's how they put it, that they're looking to increase their herd vigor. In other words, they got a bunch of Boer Spanish crosses that leave their babies after they have them, because I've seen that in action from customers that I've been to their ranch, and they have a bunch of kids and the mamas just aren't taking care of them. But you don't have that problem with these Kikos. I didn't have one problem with them taking care of their babies. I did lose one of the twins, but these girls, they are ferocious in taking care of their babies. Okay, you won't see a doe off anywhere without her babies. If they're still nursing, they're right with her. So, and even this white ones, those 2 white ones, that little one don't get too far from her mama. And her mama, if that little one's getting butted off the feed, she comes in and intervenes. So anyway, let's go to the bucklings, to the buckling and the buck. They really do like this stuff. You can see you can't keep him away from it very much. think I have a picture of him when we've had him about a year now. And I think I've got a picture maybe of him when he was just a year old. He's grown a lot. And here comes Star. This is the one I kept. He may be up for discussion, but he's a nice looking little buck. He's nice and thick through the body and through the chest. Really nice little buck. And like I said, he's, like I said, 5 months old. Just turned 5 months old. A lot bigger. He was 70 pounds at 90 days, which is excellent. Most of mine were around 58 to 60. And he's even at, I think it was 2 months, he was 40 pounds. It's a nice little buck. But so I may keep him. I don't know. Hadn't decided yet. So it didn't take much to keep these guys in feed. Of course, again, we don't have much browse growing in here. I have another area I want to turn them out on in a couple of weeks, but I got to do a little bit of fencing. So, but they got hay, coastal, and a little bit of alfalfa and pellets, so you can tell body wise they're not hurting for much. You can see these girls like the beet pulp too. As well as their pellets. But they like it. And I don't know if it's just a female thing or what. Did you see these little white huts here? There used to be 3 of them lined up down by this sea container. But they keep moving them. So I have one here that yesterday was right there. That one has been there a day or so. And then this one over here. I looked out here, over here, by this old camper the other day, and one of them was just moving. And there was a goat inside it, moving it around. I don't know. I don't like to move furniture, but these girls sure do. And their their little picnic bench over there is flattened like a pancake because they jumped too hard on it. So I need to get out there and fix it. But I've never seen such a thing. I mean, they're just out here moving them around like, okay, it's been there long enough. It's a good thing these big white ones are so heavy and made out of metal, or they'd have them moving too. Well, I've just about fed everything. Fixing to go turn on the charger, fence charger for this. And then last but not least, it's time to feed Grace. This is Grace. Fixing to go to the bathroom. You don't have to see that. She is a Kangal, livestock guardian dog. Well, that's what she's bred to be. But most of the time, this is Zoomies in the afternoon before she eats. I have her food set out, but she's running like crazy. And fixing to take a dump. Maybe not. Anyway, I don't get to have her out of her kennel very much. It's just been so blasted hot. I don't think we've had a day. Well, last week we had a day that was 89. Those are low temperatures. Most days are 103, 105, 106. And the mornings are in the 80s. So, before you start squawking, she's in a kennel all day long. Well, kinda. But her doghouse has air conditioning. The chickens are in here right now. But if you look over here, she has an insulated doghouse. It's called a CRB Palace. But you see, you have a tube right there, coming through the wall, ducked into here. I don't know if you can see it or not from here. Yep, see, she's got a duct. And if we go into this building right here where I keep feed and the cat's food and And the cats stay in here. They have their own little door. And it's kind of just a junk room at the moment. It's about 72 in here. And there's a little fan over here. And this little fan pulls the air from this room into her doghouse. See through that tube. So the other day I was commiserating. I wish I could have her out more, and you know, I feel bad about her being in the kennel. My son looks at me and he says, "Mom, she has air conditioning. Your dog has air conditioning." So I don't think about it too much. We've kind of had a love-hate relationship. When I got her, I didn't have my goats yet, so I couldn't really put her with my goats like I was supposed to. And chickens are not a good thing. And she hates the cat, the male cat. The other one she tolerates, but she barks at him. Anyway, I tried putting her on a tether, and it was so wild I had to be on the four-wheeler, have a treat in my hand, and put her leash on her. She's wrapped me up in her tether a couple of times and taken me to the ground. So she turned 2 in April, and she's settled down a little bit. She is still technically a puppy. There are days she has good days and days that she has bad, stubborn days. But it's been better since I let her come in here, and she eats, and in the cool of the day she eats, and she runs around and does her zoomies, running round and round and round. And the cows come up sometimes, and the chickens come up. Most of the time she does pretty good, but every once in a while, she used to not let the chickens in the gate. She would stand there and she'd chase the chickens, but she couldn't get to them but through the fence. And so, just like, see, sheep right there, there's the cat, and she's on high alert. She doesn't bark at Squeaker, okay? She doesn't bark at Squeaker, but she barks at Creeper. She hates Creeper. Creeper's the devil. Anyway, that's Grace's opinion on the situation. But she's a big dog. She weighs probably over 100 pounds, and as strong as they come. But before you freak out about her being in the kennel a lot, she has air conditioning. So this is the end of feeding for the day. The cats already have food. I put food out for them a couple of days ago, and they still have food. It takes about 2 hours in the afternoon. I start at 6, and usually it's about 8:30 before I get into the house, and then I wait for the chickens to come in, and they come in, and then the guineas come in about 9:30, 9:40, 9:15, 9:30 in the dark, and I usually have to call them in and herd them in. I don't know if you can herd guineas, but I do a pretty good job of it. So like and subscribe to the channel. I hope you like it. I think we're getting better at doing this. So, like I said, like and subscribe, and we'll try and make another one before too long. Today is actually June the 30th, middle of the year, fixing to grow into the month of July, and keep us in your prayers for rain. We desperately need some rain. We got almost 2 inches about 3 weeks ago, and the grass started up, and we all went, yay! And then we hit 2 weeks of 100-degree weather. The grass is up, but it's starting to die off. And Grace is being Grace. Excuse our junk here. I bought these rabbit pens. I got all of those. Got all those rabbit pens and the waters and some of the feeders I'm using out with the pasture chicken for 20 bucks. Stole them. Awesome buy. Anyway, good night. And if you live in West Texas, find a cool spot, even if it's your dog's kennel.